Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm still a little froggy. I apologize. It doesn't sound like me, but I'm hoping it still looks like me. I see some great people on here today. I see Al Lafort is here. Hi, Al. Jim Vanis is here. Hello. Good to see you again. I haven't seen you since convention. But you know what happens at convention stays at convention. All right, so it's 10 o'clock on the dot. We have a few more people that will be logging in, which is just fine. They can get caught up. Usually my first few minutes I'll spend letting you know about the GoToWebinar. You know, we have the GoToWebinar control panel on your side. If it's been minimized, just click that little orange arrow and open it up. We do have 3 different handouts that are uploaded there. Those handouts and all of our other handouts are also added into Paragon. Simply in the upper right-hand corner, click the MLS Documents link and then either scroll to MIRS Education or either Education. MIRS has a few more cheat sheets than the General Education folder because that is for all of our vendored MLSs. So I was very excited yesterday to open this class to all of our participants of it's a regional data sharing, which, you know, we share data and we're also sharing our platform with many other MLSs, which gives you a lot more information. And with all of these other MLSs being on the same platform of Paragon, you don't have to wait for any data sharing time lags. Into the database, it's there, and which is very important when you're talking about Collab Center and automatic notifications for your clients. So we have 3 different handouts. Those are one for buyers, the general one, and then I added one about how to change your search criteria. I also have one of our quick tip videos on our YouTube channel, which is My Real Source Media. Simply go to YouTube and select My Real Source Media. And don't forget to subscribe to that so you get all the new videos that we've been doing. So I just shared on Facebook today the one we did earlier in the month, which was, I just put a Collab Center out there today. So that's there. They're all organized by playlist. So if you want to get into Paragon, there's all the ones there, transaction desk, lead generation, they're all on our YouTube channel. That's one of the things about the pandemic that we really worked hard on our YouTube channel and recording all of our classes. So you have all of that content there to help learn. And the new thing is chapters in YouTube. So in the description, you can write at this particular time, you go into creating your search. At this particular time, set up notifications. So you can get right to that point without having to scroll back and forth and play and figure it out. So that's really exciting. So I'm going to start today's class, which is the Collab Center for your clients, with a poll. So let's go ahead and get started. Have you started using the Collab Center? Great, so the majority of you have been using it. I've got 90%, I will let that roll. So we've got 90% voted, 78% have been using it. Awesome, that is good. So what are we gonna be doing today? That is the Collab Center. As you'll see, we have the Mixing It Up with My Real Source is here in your notes, which is tomorrow's class. We're going to be talking about our data sharing and some new stuff that's coming down the pike, which is pretty awesome. So don't miss tomorrow's Mixing It Up with My Real Source. You'll see, you know, I work with 2 screens. So here it is. Here is your registration link at the very bottom of the message. And then once you've registered and you've seen this note enough, just simply and they go away. I know some of you do like to keep your messages up there just for reference. You don't have to worry about that because if you are looking for your previous messages, they will be up here in the upper left-hand corner if you haven't rearranged any of your boxes. Right under the message, just tap that open and you will see all of the ones that are still available. See, these are all the snowed in. Join us today. We're not snowed in. Well, tomorrow we might be snowed in, but not today. It's a little rainy and drizzly. So you can access all the ones here. This shows all of our data sharing and information here. Some great information. All right, what is the Collab Center? Already know. So we do have some of our fewer or our newer members have asked, well, I can't find it under resources because, we teach them that's where everything is. How come it's not under the resource? Well, because it's the client's portal. That's why it's not actually one of our tools. So we find it under the contacts module, and no, it doesn't say Collab Center here neither. That is okay. So what we are going to be doing is first we're gonna, let's see, which do we want to do first? Do we want to dive right in and get a search going and get your contact in there? Let's go ahead and do that. So we will add your client. We'll talk a little bit about the contacts module, and then we'll set them up with notifications. And if anybody has a new listing out there, or Jim, I know you usually have a few good listings. If you have a listing, let me know. So I will show you how to get your clients or your sellers in the Collab Center as well, which is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so you guys aren't distracted. And then we will get our class going today. Okay. So my questions panel is going to be to my side. So if you have a question, bear with me. It might take me just a second to get there. So when starting in the Collab Center, you can do it from either direction. You can create a search and then work the problem that way, or you can go into the contacts and work your problem this way. That's the thing I love about Pay. Is there more than one way to do something? So I'm going to go into the contacts module today, and I'm going to add my contact. And from here, here's my first bit of information. New only is my default. You can change that in your preferences wizard up here. There are really only two options. I would never disable the searching for my clients. However, if I have a client that either A, I know exactly what they want and I'm only going to send them listings that I've approved, that I've seen first, and then I will send to my clients. And that is a really great way to do it. Or there's also another way. My favorite one is, Debbie, if you send me any more yellow houses, I'm going to fire you. I told you I don't want to look at a yellow house. I don't want to see it in my searches. Okay, no problem. I will make sure to double check every listing before they go out to you. So that's where you get to preview them before they go to your client. So you approve or decline listings. So let's just stick with the regular, and we'll go into agent preview a little later. So we are going to be having, this is going to be my favorite buyer, Betty Buyer. Now, you know that these are the only two required fields to add a contact in here. However, if you're going to enter them on automatic notifications, you gotta email them. Now, as I tab, you'll see the green check mark that says it looks like a valid email. And then I do have to select where the primary email is going to be. I can also add more information about Betty Buyer here, and also add a spouse or a secondary. Now I am going to add in the full name, and you will see why a little later, because it looks better that way. Now I tab here again, and I see the big green button, but I'm not going to mark him as primary. You see that'll change from Betty being the primary to him. And yes, I want to add the spouse to the notifications. Now, if my client has an address that I would like to put in here, I certainly can. Maybe it's just for prospecting, because I can print labels out of this system as well. So I can certainly add the address here. Website information about my contact, and in the upper right, more contact information. HomeBot is a drip campaign out of here that we get 25 free seats from Paragon. And after that, you do have to start paying for them. It's a monthly digest you can send to your homeowners about the value of their home. It's kind of interesting. Try it out on yourself and see what you like about it or what you don't like about it. So in my types, I can certainly add in what type. They're a buyer, and maybe these are a friend of mine. Groups is another thing here. These I had to create myself. So when I do group emails, this is the only way that I can do group emails out of Paragon Contacts. Reverse prospecting. So this is really cool. Reverse prospecting allows other agents using Paragon to see if my client is a match for them, for their listing. Now, they're not going to know Betty Buyer, Bobby Buyer. They're not going to know anything about my client. They're only going to know that it's my client, and it's going to give them the alias's name. So I'm going to give this one Snowball. And that way, if a listing agent runs the reverse prospecting report and sees that their listing is a match to my client's listing, they'll reach out to me and say, hey, your buyer, Snowball, is a match for my listing. And that's the only way. So I have source here as well, a couple other things. So now what I want to do is save. See, there's a few things that you can do here in the contacts module. So now that I've saved it, here's my whole contact activity in a nutshell. Any notes, tasks. Tasks do show up on the calendar on the main page, but nowhere else. Any documents that you might have uploaded into here. Any CMAs that you create through the Paragon CMA, which we don't use. We use Cloud CMA for our CMAs. Okay. Now what I can simply do is use the green button on the right-hand side, the next, and that'll get me through all of my folders on the left. And you just saw this one, so we don't need this one. So let's tap next. And here we are under buyer activity. And it's going to get me right into adding a search. I have two options. I can either A, add a new saved search, or load an existing saved search. So if I had created my search previously and didn't marry it up to my client, I'll simply select this one. It will give me my list of saved searches that I have. So maybe I want Kelly's waterfront search in here. Maybe that's what I was looking for. Simply add it, and then you go to their notifications. Now, if this was the wrong one, simply remove the search. I can also edit my search from here as well. So I'm going to remove this search and remove it from the contact. Okay. Now, what I really want to do is add a new saved search for my client. So what are my options? Yep, I'm going to select residential. And of course, I'm going to run through all my criteria. I type and tab my way through here. So I can type an R and hit tab to select it without ever moving my mouse. Tab, tab, type A for active. Now, if I don't know what's in here, of course, I'm going to be selecting my magnifying glass on the right-hand side, where you'll see all of the different active statuses. So this is a conversation you want to have with your client. Do you want to see items that keep showing a contingency applies? Or do you want to see homes that are, it's really pending, but they're accepting backup offers because it might fall through? And then, of course, you want to have a discussion about the coming soon listings. Listings have a maximum of 7 days to be in the coming soon status. And I have made sure to edit my spreadsheet view to see the coming soon date in here, because not every single report in the MLS shows that coming soon date. So I simply save, and now you'll see all of these have been spelled out. And actually for you, you might just have the CS and not the full name under that. Under my preferences wizard, it was one of those options. So if you'd like to have that spelled out, just type that in your question, say, hey Deb, spell that out for me. And I will take care of that in the background for you. All right, going through here. Now I can simply go in and add my municipalities, pretty easy. Now remember, if you're adding municipalities, sometimes it's best to add in your county code. If you don't know your county codes, I know Macomb County is 50 because that's my little tri-county area. If I want, I can just type in the county. And I never use the ST. Is it Saint, ST, ST period? So St. Clair. Because remember, when you go in to type municipalities, if I had both Macomb and St. Clair counties in here, and I were to type Clair, so I have St. Clair Shores as well as St. Clair and St. Clair Township. Now remember, the thing about these numbers is these first two digits are the county indicator. So 50, St. Clair Shores is in Macomb County. St. Clair and the township are in 74, which are in St. Clair County. So that's one of those things that's like, why are there so many different options of Detroit or Macomb? There was just the one Macomb, it was Clinton. So there's one of the ones, Clinton Township and Clinton. So these are in the same county, 46, and then county 68 and Macomb County. So that's why you need to understand what these numbers mean. So those first two numbers are your county. All right, but what I want to do is I want to go in and select the map. So let's go in and do a little bit of fun stuff with the mapping, because you know how to add in a municipality. It's kind of easy. Now, I do keep my map on a hybrid view. You'll see on the left-hand side. The default is the road, but I like that hybrid. It gives me both street names and the aerial view. Your map will default to your office unless you tell it otherwise. And yes, I'm going to say it again, in my preferences wizard, I changed it. And what I usually do, I like to go through my wizard. So in my preferences, I use my wizard instead of trying to poke and prod my way through either of these. And you guys, I've been at the MLS since 2012, and I know my way around, but still, I think it's easiest to go right through the wizard, page by page, and you'll get right to where you need. So let's say we're going to be looking in Harrison Township. And that's how you move your map. Simply add in your city, and you see the down arrow, you'll see all the last searches that I have done. And I did put my physical address in here, the board address, which this is, association management usually owns the MLS, but not us. Remember, we are the only broker-owned MLS in the state of Michigan. And of course, the office address. So that's where you have everything here. So here's going to be the center of Harrison Township. And maybe this is where they want to be, maybe within a couple miles of this. So maybe this is their new job or the new school here at Lance Cruz High School. If I wanted to do a radius search right around here, and simply put it right here, we'll do entering 2 for miles. Remember, there's 2 searches. Either search the radius, so I'm going to put the radius on the board here. Now, if I clicked search, it's going to run the search for me. So let's zoom out a little, see what we have. not a lot of listings. We could change it to 1.5, maybe 2 miles. I could edit this. I could delete it and redraw. So if I want to edit, I'll simply click in the upper left and select edit. So I can delete it. I can click into it. And then from here, all I need to do is click on these waypoints, the little circles, and increase it as much as I want. So maybe all the way out up to Gratiot. Maybe I wanted to go a little bit further and say, oh, that's great. That is, I like that. But maybe I don't want to go on the west side of Gratiot. Well, how do you do something like that? That's crazy. That can be done as well. So what I'm going to do is draw an area down here and tell it not to do any of those. So I'm going to draw in the left-hand side. I'm going to go with the polygon. That's the one that you can freehand. So now you'll see my cursor has turned to the crosshairs. And I'm simply going to start at the top. And how to draw is I'm going to click and release. This is not a click and drag. I click and release. Now I move my mouse down, Gratiot, click again. And then I'm going to come out here and click. And all I need to do is end where I began. Click. So you know it's going to add. That's the default. You're going to add maps to this. It's typical, not excluding. So we want to exclude this. So I've tapped edit. And the last one that I did is the polygon. And you see the check here on the left. I'm going to uncheck it. And now it says exclude. So now I've told it, do not show me any listings from over here. So yes, I want all of this area, but that's just, I don't want to be on the west side. You know, maybe I could cut it off just a skosh here, whatever you want. You can add several map shapes on here. Okay, so now I'm not ready to run my search as of yet. I want to go back to my criteria right here because I don't have anything but active and these shapes. So you see we have 26 listings. Do I want for sale or for rent? Well, if I had no minimum, yeah, I would say I only want items that are for sale. But if I put in 200,000 as a minimum, then I'm not really needing to put in a selection here. To 375, maybe go up to 400, see what we have there. 8, okay, not a whole lot. So we can add in more. One of the things I was helping my agents just the other day, she's an experienced agent, but new to our system. She said, you know, Debbie, I want all of this area here, but not that little city of whatever it was. You can go back to the map or click here. So we can do layers and find out layers and add the municipalities on here and see which cities are which. So I could tell it, this is Mount Clemens. Maybe I wanted all of this, but not anything in Mount Clemens. Or maybe if I had accidentally gotten up into Chesterfield on this, I could say, go back to my criteria and say area or municipality, say Chesterfield. And say not equal to. So as long as I don't want anything in Chesterfield, which also does the same as that polygon. It just depends on how you're using the system. You can use it by map shapes, and then excluding a city or excluding a shape. Either way, those can work. There's also other cool ways to search by the multiple addresses and structure styles. You know, if my client only wanted a ranch, that's going to be a 1-story. You know that there's a multitude of structure styles to select from. And I know the majority of you have been here for a bit. So remember, don't forget what that 1.5 story is all about. That always tripped me up when I first got into real estate. Condo or a ranch style on the second floor or above. Remember, these are type things that is your client going to be accessing this second floor or above via stairs or an elevator. Those things are very important to buyers. Bedrooms. So we want at least 3 bedrooms, then knocked off a few more. And I don't need to put a max. I mean, oh, my client will not clean more than 5 bedrooms. Well, you don't have to. Bathrooms total is my favorite field. This is how I like to use it. So if I select, I need at least 2 bathrooms in the home. This doesn't qualify whether they are full baths or half baths. These are just baths in the home. And 2 baths could find 1 full bath and 1 half bath. So remember that those are criteria as well. If you need to be more specific, if you need 2 full baths, scroll down and go into that secondary criteria at the bottom. Hit that down arrow and scroll down again. There are the bathrooms full and bathrooms half. So if you have to be specific about how many bathrooms, that's where you are. Remember, you can also customize your search criteria. If this is something you always use, you can customize on this blue bar here and customize those fields. And we have one of our quick tips on that. So if you'd like, I can always send that out to the class. So let's go back up to the top where we were, into the bathrooms, basement, waterfront. Remember, if you select yes on any of these, it will get you any kind of basement. Remember, if you go down into the feature codes and you select basement, how many basement types are there? So garage, pool, ownership, subject to short sale, not a whole lot of those anymore. So the feature codes. Now, this is one thing I absolutely love as a listing agent. As a listing agent, make sure to be as robust and honest as possible on all of these. As a buyer's agent, in a tight market like now, I'm not really going to concern myself too much with the features, but there are a few that I do want to talk about. So I'm going to tap that magnifying glass, and you will see that this encompasses everything from financing. We have appliances. There's all your basement types. So if I just said basement yes, it'll get me, as long as it fits any one of these criteria, it will be in there. But the thing that I love about the features code is that you must have, must not have, or hey, as long as I get one of these, and you'll see here's my list right here. Must have. I must have a block basement. And if it's not marked as having a blocked basement, and maybe it does, it's not going to come up. Remember, this is dependent upon the listing agent entering criteria, which you got to be, you know. The others are, hey, as long as I either have a block or a poured or a full, something like that, that's fine. And even in this case, just basement, yes, will probably work. But one of the features that I absolutely love is the must not have. I must not have a common. I'm not sharing my basement with other people, or that common storage locker. That's not a thing. Not what I want. And not a wood basement. Okay. So you could use those that way. There's also the financing is down at the bottom here. It's around Z, financial terms. So a lot of people do ask, hey, how do I find cash listings? They don't see it here in the criteria. It's because it's one of those feature codes. All right, and save that. So there's our must not have. And seeing even like golf course here. Golf course would be my preferred, and there's a couple of different golf courses. So when you look at these, so what's the difference between golf course and on golf course? F and Z. So this is where you want to look, see what they are. So what are F, association or community amenities? So as long as it's in the golf course community or in the association, or Z is the site description. So is it physically on the golf course? And there you are, on the golf course. And that's a must have one or more, and save. So as long as it's on the golf course or in the golf course community, I'm good with that. But you'll see there is not a golf course in the area I selected or any listings on a golf course. Now, I can remove this by tapping on the X here or on the right-hand side. It took me a long time to ever notice this when I was learning the MLS, that here's my entire summary of my criteria. And either A, I can just delete this entire line, that one, and the features must not have, or I can edit these. So if I tap the blue, now highlights it and puts my cursor right there for me. Very nice. School district, garage, square foot. I'm down to 5 listings, so I will leave that for now. So I'm going to search, because of course I'm going to take a peek at this. There are my 5 listings. And you know, I do not have the coming soon date on this particular spreadsheet. Remember, each spreadsheet view is independent. So if you customize one spreadsheet view, it does not mean that you've customized them all, because I don't really necessarily want the same thing on every spreadsheet. So here are my MLS. This is the default. As you'll see, sold and concession prices are here, and I don't need that when I'm looking at active listings. Okay, now your 2 options are to save the search or add it to a cart. We're going to be saving the search. If you add it to a cart, that's like your shopping cart. It doesn't change. Only if your price changes on something in your shopping cart, nothing new gets added to it automatically. It's like online shopping. It's your cart. The only thing that's going to change is your price. Because you know, hey, the price went up, the price went down. So we're going to save that search. And I love that it automatically gives me my name, save search for Betty Buyer. 2222. I like to name and date. That's the way I roll. Now, if I want my client and myself, those 2 separate notifications, to be on immediate notifications, all I need to do is send that welcome message, and it works perfectly. But for dive and go into the settings, because it automatically sets your clients up for the Collab Center. So let's click into those settings. Now there is a message body up here. That's the old school stuff when you're doing those straightforward email notifications, which we don't need to create those anymore. The date range is set to 1 year, but you'll see mine is not 1 year. I changed mine to 6 months, simply to give me a reminder that my client's been searching for 6 months and maybe I should reach out, reevaluate. What is going to trigger a notification email to my client? Price changes, new matches, comments by me or my client. And then I also added in status changes. Because the market is moving so quickly right now, I wanted to make sure that my client sees that, oh, this is pending. Oh, this is pending. So they now know if you want to buy something, you need to be quick. You need to be ready. And here are the 2 pieces of the notifications. My client gets immediate notifications. It's a hot market. But maybe me, I like my daily report. So I'm going to set mine to recurring, but I do have to tell it when do I want mine. So I'm going to click to set my time frame. Because the cool thing is, you know, if I do this for my clients, and if they go to lunch at noon every day, and that's generally when they're checking their listings, I could set them up for, I'd say, an 11:30 email to give them all the updates since 11:30. But for me, in my preferences wizard, I changed my default to 7 a.m. So all I have to do is tap OK, because that's when I like all of my notifications to come in. And I'll show you what my notifications do look like. So this is going to Betty and Bobby, because remember in the contact module, I told it to add the spouse onto the notifications. Now I don't need to CC or BCC myself because I get my own agent notifications. Now I could BCC myself and get the same exact thing that they do, but what I get is different. And then your subject line, activity for your Collaboration Center site. So I'm going to shorten this up a wee bit because I call it Collab. Most everybody calls it Collab Center. And this is going to be Harrison Township. Maybe they have a couple of searches going. This just helps them figure out what they have. All right, so my email options are set. I'm going to tap OK in the upper right. And now what do I need to do? I need to send that welcome email, because without this, your client has nothing. All right, it's going to go to Betty and Bobby. Welcome to your Collaboration Center for Buyers. And you'll see that this is blank, you think. So let's preview it in the upper right-hand corner. Here we are. Looks like I changed out my headshot to that dang low-res one. Welcome to Collab Center, Betty Buyer and Bobby Buyer. So this is why I put in Bobby Buyer as his name, because otherwise it would say Betty Buyer and Bobby. Okay, just Bobby. There are 5 matches that are found. Where do listings come from? There's undecided, and we haven't even got to those agent picks yet. So I will show you how to do an agent pick for your clients. Your clients can mark them as favorites, possibles, and rejects. Encourage them to do so. You will see why. Now, I can communicate with those comments, but just text me, please, honestly. You can compare folders, or you can create a custom folders. Homes I like with pools. And you can even compare listings too, do a side-by-side. It's pretty cool. They do have to create a password. And yes, this is branded to me. You'll see I do like to use upper and lower case for my email address. That's one thing I learned in the ePro class. Here is my Facebook business page, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter pages. Now, if you have not added these in your Collab Center preferences wizard, these boxes will not show. So if you only have your Facebook business page here, only this one will show. But I wanted to make sure that you saw everyone. In this one, they just haven't updated Instagram in the preview. It is there. All right, let's close the preview and send. Now, one thing before you leave this page, always want to make sure that that email was sent. And close. All right. So let's go ahead and close out Betty Buyer. Now from my front page, you'll see Betty Buyer has been added. She now has this blue view button, and that's their site. Now, the one thing, the reason why I encourage you to encourage your clients to mark their listings as favorites, possibles, and rejects is so you can see what's going on. Any of you that's been around since Listing Book, that's one of those things that they had. You could see what your clients were up to. And here it is. Here's Lisa Harris. For those of you who have been to many of our training sessions throughout the years, Lisa is one of our trainers. She is the one that trained me, so many years ago. Oh my gosh, I'm coming up on 10 years this year, not till October. So I can easily go in and see what her 4 favorites are. So I'm going to tap the 4. And next I'm going to say, hey, Lisa, would you like me to schedule up some of your favorite listings that are still active? Now she has more than 4 favorites, but these are only the ones that are going to be active, the ones that I will see, because I don't really care about the ones that are not active anymore. She's like, yeah, I would love to. And you know what? Here's the easy thing. So I'm going to select them all and go into my actions. And what can I do with this? I'm going to take all of these listings and bring them over to showing time. I never knew if client 1 creates a password. Oh, nope. So Al LaForte has a great question, and I'm going to go back here. I want to answer him. He says, I never know. If client 1 creates a password, does client number 2 need to know that password, or do they create their own? They will be sharing the one account, which is going to be the primary. So as I go back to my contacts and into that message history, it should show right there. Let's go back to the password. Create a password. And I know it's kind of gray. Let's see. You will need a specific login. We have already created your username below. All you need is to create a password. Betty and Bobby will use the same username and password. So they are sharing the same exact account. And do you guys see what I just did? So for my Betty buyer, I clicked into the message history, and here is their message. So I simply have to click into the subject line, and now I will see it down here. Pretty awesome. So you can see what emails have been going out to your clients. All right, so I'm going to go back to my showing time where we were. So we clicked into those favorites and then clicked the actions button and went over and brought them all into showing time. So now this gives me the opportunity to add these listings to a showing cart. Maybe we're going to go out on showings tomorrow. Buyer name, Betty buyer. And I'm always making sure to marry up my showings with my clients. And now, here are my 4. And don't forget, we can smart route these. Look at that. And this is going to be a big, long day. There's an hour worth of travel here, 2 hours worth of travel here, an hour worth of travel here. This is my lottery search. I love this one. So it's all over the place. Simply schedule these up, save, with no thoughts here, and do that. All right. And there's a lot you can do here. Don't forget, you can also, once these are confirmed, send an email or print a list to your clients. I like that printed list. It was great for my son when he was searching for properties. That's all that he needed. So if I print this, so this was all that he needed. And you'll see that these are not yet requested. Don't forget, you can do an agent's or a buyer's version. Agents will give you combinations, buyers will not. So, but this just gives enough space to write little notes. There's the address, the photo, your showing time, price, and beds, baths, square footage. Nice, I love it. So that's one of the reasons why I love making sure that my clients mark things as their favorites, possibles, or rejects. So let's go take a look at Betty Buyers Collab Center. So we're going to tap the view button. Al, that was a great question. Thank you for that. Okay, so here is my contact information about me. And there's even more here. So at first glance, here's all the new listings. They're all new for my client. There's their favorite, possible, reject. Create a custom folder, and they can start comparing listings as well. You'll see they also have additional options. I want you to see what they can do. your clients can stumble into this. So they can email you, you can do those comments. They can request a showing. Yes, the request will come to you, their agent. And yes, they can share this on Facebook too. I'll show you what that looks like. So let's click into that. Because remember, there's such thing as called listing attribution. So I'm going to share this to a page I manage to one that is not published. You guys can see that. Big Red Homes. I know, it's funny. Haha. Request a showing? Notifies agent how. Yes, the showing request will come in as an email to you, the buyer's agent. Test, blah, blah, blah. And post. So my Big Red Homes is a non-published page. So it's my one where in class I can post everything to. I can post 5 times in a row and nobody's going to get upset for all the junk that I'm posting. So I'm going to go over to my Big Red Homes in Facebook. Get the boat ready. All right, let's go. Okay, so you'll see this is what it looks like, the nice big photo. Because remember, a lot of your clients will post to social media saying, hey, if I move this far away, will you guys still come visit me? What's this look like though? Is there listing attribution? Is there what? So that it comes from me, even though as you take a deeper dive, you will see that there is listing attribution to the listing agent. But this came from my client, so therefore it's got my information on there. All right. And then that request a showing is just simply an email, and please, and send. So you just send their time or date and time. I don't think we'll make it by 10 a.m. It's a little late. Your request is not confirmed. Your agent has been sent your request and will contact you as soon as possible. So it goes to me. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is in the upper right, the contact me information. This is how you can seriously help your clients. So of course, here is my information that I added into my preferences wizard for the Collab Center: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. This is a standard letter here. You can change it if you want. It looks like mine could use a little bit of beautification. On the left-hand side, here is my office information. And there is a video that you can put here, a My Story. Of course, when you enter in that link, it needs to be hosted on a site like Vimeo or YouTube. And of course, you guys know My Story is all about the MLS. So we just revised the new agent onboarding chapter 1. I like to put it there so you guys get a good view of what's there. You can put a 2-second or a 30-second video about yourself. Go for it. And here's what I like. You can add in all sorts of links. Your broker might have something to say about what you do put in here. So remember, check with your brokerage. So these are things that can help my clients. Staging can help you sell. DirecTV, how to get to them. A little bit of information about my area. Here's the Anchor Bay Chamber. There's Warwater Brewery, your St. Clair refuge. It's right here in St. Clair. It is within stumbling distance of the house. So let's close this out. So they also have My Home Wealth and their property search. So the My Home Wealth is this one. This is Betty Buyer. Betty Buyer did not add in, I didn't add in the home address to Betty Buyer, but they certainly can. And they can do a property search by all sorts of information here. If I go back to my buyer activity, there's the listing activity. They can see recent sales. communications, and those saved folders. So there's a lot that they can do here, and even up in the 3 bars on the left, more property searches, their own searches, and some more information too. Okay, so Jim, let's see if Jim, nope, we want to do the agent preview next, and then we'll go to the sell side. So agent preview, this client right here is my PIA. She is my pain in the butt. She's the one that told me, Debbie, if you send me any more yellow homes or any more homes without a fireplace, that's just, I'm gonna have to move on to another agent, one who will actually be working on my behalf. Okay, don't worry, Debbie. So Debbie Gmail Fajardo is set up on the agent preview, and you will see that this column is now populated. These need approval. So let's go into the contact and into the contact information. So in the contact information, you will see that this client has been sent or set to agent preview. Means it's going to come to me first, and then I have to approve it to get it to go out. So now you see there are 19 matches altogether. 10 needs approval. There are 3 that have been disapproved. So anything you tell it, no, don't like it, they don't go away totally. You still can find them. So you can still review anything that matches or might match their criteria. So of the items that have already gone to my client, they are all undecided. This client was last notified January 26th, and they last accessed their site yesterday. So let's go into the approval. I don't want to approve all. That's going to say, oh. So let's go into these 10. Now you'll get an email telling you that you need to log into the MLS and do this. So you have to come to this area. I know it's on the list of items to be tweaked, because I would like a better way to do this. I want this to come right to my email, and from my inbox, I want to be able to approve listings. So I'm going to go in and say Port Huron, no. Port Huron, no, not in a condo. Maybe that's a yes. So these are disapprove. So right at the top, I'm going to disapprove those. Okay. And maybe this, well, let's sort by municipality. St. Clair, oh yeah. Mike Bachelor's, that's a good one. And this one here, oh, those would be great listings. And approve. So now we've just, I'm going to close out this tab. So now we have only 6 that need approval. There's 8 in the undecided, and they don't have any active listings that have been favorited or possible. Now, if I go into this site, you will see that there are plenty of favorites, possibles, and rejects. So there's 14 favorites, so none of these are going to be active anymore. And here's the new ones that were just added in. There's that new one. Right on the water. Very pretty, very pretty. I don't think this one's been added in here, is it? Oh, look, and this client actually loaded up her headshot. Yes, okay. So I do have the home address on this client, and here is a snapshot of the home bot. There we go. So this is the value of their home. You can request a CMA. It means that my net worth of the home. How do you know the net worth of my home? Well, they've got connections to mortgages, blah, blah, blah. They have a lot of information. Thinking of selling? You might have a whole lot of purchasing power. You could use the equity to do stuff. What you've paid so far. Now, it says that looks right, or change these numbers. Yeah, it has my mortgage info. Great. What they can do with different financing. If I pay just $150 more each month, I could save, wow, $27,000. What if I only did 50 bucks a month? Cool. Yeah, pretty cool. If you bought another home. So this is their monthly digest that they will get, and they can access it any single time that they want. And I'll actually get a monthly email letting me know how many of my clients have opened this report, how many are looking at it, and who is looking at it. All right, that's enough of that. Go back to my buyer activity. And again, there's that listing activity, recent sales, communications, so they can even see what's going on recently and in the area. So your clients get a lot of good information about this. Now, if they strictly use their phone, they've got to be able to use that, the folders up on the left. All of these, the favorites, possibles are going to be bunched right on top of each other. All right, so that is your agent preview. When you do set up a client on agent preview, you should do it right from the beginning. You can go back and change it. Just requires a little bit more thought in making sure that you've covered all bases on that one. All right, so let's see. I'm going to see if Jim is still with us today. I'm going to see if Jim has a listing. I'm just going to assume his ID. Now, do not think that anybody can assume anybody's ID. This is a staff function for us to help you guys out, to fix your stuff that you might have changed or whatever. Also, if you have an admin or a secretary working for you, they can assume your identity if you let them. Should be this one. Oh, I don't know if I can assume. There we are. Phew. Okay. All right, you'll see that Jim Vanis is a member of the Claire Gladwin Board of Realtors, and this is his account here. To find listings easily, I simply go to the Market Monitor and look for my info. And he has 3 listings right here. So what I want to do is let's take a peek and see which one we want to do. Active. Okay, so you're one active on Hunter. Cool. Let's take the Hunter. It's residential. And I'm going to set up the seller on the Collab Center so they can get automatic notes. Hey, Jim. Jim is here. Ah, there we go. Thanks, Jim. Okay. So I'm going to go into the contacts module and add a contact. Debbie. Primary. Okay, so that's all I need right here. First name, last name, email address, and watch what happens as I hit save. It's going to ask me, hey, would you like to associate a property to this contact? Yes, I do. And here are my listings. So it gives you the statuses right here. So I'm going to go ahead and add in, I'll use the active and save. This is so hard. Oh, such work. Really, sarcasm. So there is a sell side report here, or actually this is sell side site. So it's disabled. Let's toggle that to enabled. And I want to send my client that welcome email. Oh, look. And we're going to CC Jim because he's on the BCC to himself. And let's preview this because remember, it's different for everybody. So let's preview that. Create a password. Here's your listing. Where do comparables come from? Oh, actives and solds. There's Jim with his email and his company logo. All right, close out my preview and send. Ta-da, and look, email sent. Always double check for that big green bar. Oh, look, and Jim uses upper, lower too. I love you, Jim. And close. Now, there's one other thing my client can get, an email report. So this is just the Collab Center site. They can go in, take a peek, see what's going on. But I also want to send them an email report. So let's click that disabled. So now let's go take a peek at their sell side. Let's close out Debbie. Refresh. Seller. You. That was sent. Send. Just to make sure that was done. View the site. All right. So here's Jim's contact information in the upper right. There's that standard that's here. Jim can also add in some more links over here to his mortgage company, to his moving van company, to his, I don't know. So here you are, the tab called Seller Activity in the upper left. There's the activity. So far, we have 255 listing views. In the last 14, 30, and 90 days, how many listing views? We have real estate agent views, prospective buyers, price changes. You also have showing time. Now, if I click into showing time, it's going to open it up for me, or the feedback. So because I have credentials, it's going to open up my credentials for the appointment center, or for, I see it's Jim's, but okay. So here is, there's the listing. The experience will be different for our client though. Prospective buyers, prospective buyer views, agent views, any recommendations, saved searches. It's in 70 different saved searches. So Jim could actually run reverse prospecting and see who matches. And social activity too. Very cool. So if I were the homeowner, I could share this on social media too and gain a little bit more traction. Love it. And there's my competition. Let it think for a minute. Doesn't look like a whole lot of competition here. Zoom in. There's 5. So those are clustered. There's 2 here, 2 here. Those might be duplicate listings. Cool. So these are what your sellers can access right here. Absolutely love the fact that you can help your sellers out. And if they were both a seller and a buyer, they would have their buyer activity tab and their seller activity tab. So everything in one place. All right, so we've done one last thing. I want to, actually, I'll get out of Jim's account, go back to mine. Thanks for the use of your listing, Jim. I greatly appreciate that. So one of the things on our homepage is these little widgets. So my contact activity, it shows there's one new activity here. Didn't show any new saved searches here. So let's go into that new, and that will get you, that's a nice little shortcut too on what's going on here. There's 3 new listings, and she did last access it today. All right, so we've done the home page here. You can find how to access that. Entering your client's criteria. If you need to go in and edit that, don't forget to view, manage, select your client, buyer activity, and then select that search. We haven't done agent recommended yet. So what happens when you find a listing that's maybe outside of this criteria? Maybe it's a little too expensive. Maybe it actually was on the west side of Gratiot. So how do we recommend a listing to our client? And I'm going to take a shortcut here. So I'm going to go into my Market Monitor and find a new listing. I'm going to pick that most expensive listing. And I'm going to say, oh, my client would love this one. So either A, I can email it to him directly. It's going to be a one and done. But what happens is if this has a $20,000 price decrease, not in this market, and then now your client is able to buy it, they would love it. You actually want them to get notifications on this one. So what you're going to do is save this listing to your client's cart. So I'm going to save my listing to a listing cart, not for myself, but for my contact. And it's that current listing. And we're going to select Debbie, or either we'll do it for Betty. Betty Buyer. Save and notify. So this goes right to the notifications. My notifications is already open under my contacts. So let's go over my contacts then. Go out and come back in to refresh Betty. And now you'll see there's agent recommended right here on the main page. So remember, there's buyer activity and seller activity. So this is my buyer. We have a saved search and we have agent recommended. And there is no need to send out that welcome email because we already have it. So the settings are going to be immediate. So there's immediate and immediate to both Betty and Bobby. Because maybe I want to keep myself immediate on my listing carts. Why not? Because that's something I picked for my client. And that's the easy way to do agent recommended. Okay, the last thing, if you need to change anything in your Collab Center, tap your preferences, and there's actually a wizard for the Collab Center. Hit your start. First name, last name, because remember my given name is Deborah, so I go by Debbie, and I put my maiden name is my middle name now. If I scroll down to my agent information page, this is the big piece here. All of your social media links. So these are how I help my clients, how I connect with my clients. And then of course the very last page is going to be setting up your searches for your clients. Let's go ahead and scooch a few more pages down. That's the About Me passage. Oh, here's your links. Now, the one thing you'll notice, I have a different link name for the link. When you add in a new, it's going to give it the same name. So uncheck the box and give it a name. So now you'll see that it's got a name here, and you can simply delete ones you need. Next. Office information, you'll see the titles of the pages. Now here are the notifications options. This is the one where I said on my client notifications, there's clients and agents. You both get two different ones. On the client notifications, I did ask to add in status changes. Now this is a global change. I can change each client individually. If my client is saying, oh, Debbie, those status changes are annoying me, I can simply take that out for Betty and no problem. So I can go save search, go to those settings. And remember, this video will be uploaded to YouTube, hopefully tomorrow. I usually like to edit it and then send it out. So I go into my settings, and this one said, oh, these status changes are horrible. I don't need status changes, and I'm never going to comment. So it's just price changes and new matches. I can change it on a per client case. All right, gang, that is it for our class today. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. I know it was, we usually leave about an hour and a half for class. Hour and 12 minutes is just fine today. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you will receive notifications when we get a new one uploaded. I'll also try to add this one to our Facebook page so you guys can watch it at your convenience. If you have any other questions, please reach out to me. You know how to find me. All right, take care, everybody.